News coming in right now, and that is what we're going to be focusing on. We're learning about shocking apathy from Karnataka's Bellary district. There was no stop near a college, and a girl has jumped out of a moving bus and has unfortunately died. Students are protesting against the government, demanding justice. We're also learning that she was upset that the bus she was traveling in did not stop near her college despite multiple requests to the conductor, a 20-year-old engineering girl who has been identified as Shweta, then jumped off of the moving bus and has now succumbed to head injuries that took place on Wednesday. Now, Shweta had reportedly requested the crew to stop the bus. The conductor, who didn't pay heed to her request, had reportedly asked her to jump off of the moving bus if she wanted to get down. Frustrated and angry that she would miss classes, Shweta then jumped off of the moving bus and sustained severe head injuries, and again succumbed to her head injuries at a private hospital in Davangere on the same day. We're crossing over to CNN News 18's Ritu to get us more on this. Ritu, do we know about what has taken place in response to action when it comes to the conductor who reportedly asked the girl to jump off of the bus?
Well, exactly. You see, this whole incident unfolded in Bellary district, where again we have seen a lot of such incidents coming to the light in the past as well, because the kind of shortages that the bus shortages are in this particular region has in fact led to one or the other sort of an incident every time. Now, in this particular incident, Shweta, in fact, who had boarded a KSRTC bus there again to reach to her college, she asked the driver to stop the bus near her college because there was no stop close to the college. So there again you see the driver in fact went on to say Shweta to in fact jump out of the bus, and the bus will at no cost would be stopping at that particular spot. So therein you see the upset Shweta in fact allegedly jumped out of the bus. But mainly what one has to notice here is the shortages of buses, and despite in the Belagavi session as well, you remember in the winter session as well, the opposition in fact got into the well of the house and started demanding the sufficient buses in the Kalyan Karnataka region and also across the Karnataka, because students were all facing the problem and they were in fact stopping these KSRTC buses as well. And one of that main reason was also that because you see the kind of bus passes that are provided to the students, these bus drivers allegedly purposefully in fact did not take allowed the students to board the buses, because that would of course not help the driver in fact to make a way for the money there again. So that's the whole reason you see these drivers in fact denied students from boarding the buses, and there all those students used to continuously protest in these districts there again. And later point you see the BJP in the state was also attacked by the opposition to ensure that there are sufficient buses and also proper bus stops as well for the students, so that such incidents do not unfold. But all that is in the vain. But now that in the elections, this of course in
Absolutely.
the
Ritu, do stay with
Karnataka.
us for just a moment. We're also being joined by Ms. Brinda Dige, activist. So Dige, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. The unfortunate breaking news that we are bringing to our viewers is the story of a 20-year-old engineering girl who jumped off of a bus. Apparently, there were no bus stops near her college. She requested the driver to stop the bus, but apparently the conductor told her that she could jump off. Could you give us your first reaction to this, please?
Very, very sad and traumatic that a life has gone, and all because of the greed and arrogance and impunity of the driver and of course the conductor also. Neither of them can be absolved. And like your reporter was pointing out, these are people who do not respect the bus pass that has been issued by the government to the students. They cannot make money because there is a bus pass, so they will not stop these buses for these children and for these students. And the students have to specifically board only few buses because of the pass. And when she asked for him to stop, what is the problem for this man? Why can he not stop? We are not in any European countries where buses are expected to stop only at their designated stops. We have here buses who stop everywhere and anywhere, which is fine because the stops are also not scientifically designed closer to colleges or less walking. And this child just jumped off and she's dead today. The arrogance. Why is it wrong to book the driver and the conductor for murder? They have to be booked for murder. Nothing short of it. And terminated from the service.
All right, Mr. Dige, do stay with us. We also want to get in a word in from Congress's Sanket Yanagi, who's also joining us on the line. Mr. Yanagi, can you tell us your first reaction to this horrific story of a 20-year-old engineering student who has died after jumping off of a bus? The background to this is that she had reportedly asked the driver to stop the bus, but apparently since there was no stop near her college, the conductor said, "You can jump off."
Firstly, it is a case of a murder. In fact, I would rather call that it's not a case of a negligence at all. The girl student has requested, and the request of the students, elders, women, disabled, has to be considered on a priority basis. And if the bus conductor or the driver do not have the sympathy or humanity to consider the request made by a student, then they are unfit to be continued to be in service. And they are not human beings at all. And number two, the stops as such are not designated in the places like underdeveloped places like Bellary and such as the districts. Not just in that place I'm talking about, but also in several places across India. And that being the case, sometimes the buses may not be stopping in a particular place, or they would be stopping somewhere else. Or sometimes the stops might be removed or might be abolished by the KSRTC abruptly without any prior notice to the general public. But the student as such is going to a school, may not be aware of all these developments. Sometimes they board the bus based on the bus pass, and the bus pass would be accepted by the conductor. And as and when they request for a stop, they have to somehow accommodate that the student should get down and go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a case where the conductor and driver both be booked for the offense committed for murder. I call it as a murder. It is not a criminal negligence. It is not culpable homicide. In fact, it is a murder. So that if they are asking someone to jump out of the moving bus, then it is nothing short of a murder. So I would say that they should be first booked. And secondly, a strict guidelines must be issued, especially in the case where the elders, women, or the children board the bus. There must be some concessions for them. If nothing has been done, then there is no rule of law which is based on the humanity. And the rule of law based on no humanity is nothing to be followed in my opinion, and that is detrimental to the society. Society's request, society's environment must be conducive, and the rules of law should provide some environment for the people to breathe, to develop themselves, and to get good education. And this is nothing but preventing everything, and this is condoned. This cannot be tolerated. And the minister in charge or the deputy commissioner and the SP should immediately look into the situation and see that the culprit should be booked under the stringent provisions of law.
Absolutely. Mr. Yanagi,
yes,
so both... All right, change of plans. Thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. We'd also like to thank Vidya Adige, who had also spoken with us earlier about this horrific case.